Alright guys, so here we have the updated version of how Miami make it to the ACC title game. Now, before we get into it, a lot of you guys are saying in these Miami Hurricane fan groups that we don't deserve to be in the ACC championship game. We lost to Georgia Tech, blah, 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 blah. This is not what this is about. This right here is just showing you the possibilities of Miami going to the championship game. If this scenario works out, Miami will be going, whether you like it or not. A lot of you don't want to see Miami play Clemson because I don't know for what reason, but you guys are so afraid of Clemson. I've never heard real Miami fans show so much fear. You guys are shaking in your boots for Clemson. They're not unbeatable, guys. Moving on. So last night, Pitt played against North Carolina. Pitt beat North Carolina. North Carolina is no longer a part of the equation. As you can see in the updated version, they are no longer on there. So now, here's what needs to happen. Well, first off, if Georgia Tech does not beat Virginia Tech tomorrow, which is November 16th, if Georgia Tech does not win that game, this whole scenario can be thrown out the window, can be thrown in the garbage. It's over. Everything on this diagram as of right now is a must. If everything don't go according to this diagram, Miami will not be going to the ACC championship game. You guys that don't want to see Miami play Clemson, you will have it your way. Now, Georgia Tech goes and beats Virginia Tech. Then what we would need is for Pitt to also beat Virginia Tech. This whole diagram basically is coming down to Virginia Tech, because at the end of the day, both of these teams will have to play Virginia Tech. The only oddball in there as of this moment is Georgia Tech, which tomorrow will determine whether they stay in or they don't. Georgia Tech wins tomorrow, you could take that part of the scenario out, and then Virginia would have to lose to Virginia Tech at the end of the season after Pitt beat Virginia Tech. But this is just a breakdown, guys. Now, what I want from you, do you think Miami deserves to be in the national? I'm sorry. Do you think Miami deserves to be in the ACC championship game? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll chop it up with you guys. Every comment will be answered. Now, let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about Miami Hurricane 2020 schedule. The schedule is out. Now, with all this ACC stuff going on, I want to focus on just the first 4 games of the schedule of the season 2020. First game of the season will be against Temple. Now, if you don't know the history between Miami and Temple, Miami has beaten Temple the last 13 meetings. Temple has only beaten Miami one time, and that was back in 1930. That long. They've played 14 games total. And yeah, it's been 1930 since Temple won. Temple won the first meeting between Miami and Temple. Alright, so the next game on the schedule is Wagner. I can't even say their name correctly because we never played them. We have no history with this team, and also they're like a team that, you know, if Miami wasn't playing them, I would have never heard of them. They're never in the top 25. Basically, these are one of those beat up teams. These are to get your season started, test your players, see where you're at, get them warmed up. These are warm up scheduled teams, but don't take any team lightly. Moving on. Next game, we have UAB University. It's a university in Alabama, Birmingham. It's also another warm-up game, but like I said, don't take these games lightly, because you don't want to get upset by one of these teams. Don't want to be like those Appalachian State wins against people like Michigan. Upsets like this happen all the time, like Old Dominion beating Virginia Tech, stuff like that. So let's not take these teams lightly. But here's the big coconut that needs to be cracked. The fourth game of the season, we play Michigan State. Now, Miami's played Michigan State a total of 4 times in history, in which all 4 times Miami has won. Miami is perfect against Michigan State, but let's not look into that, because the last time they played, I think it was in 1989 or something like that. So let's not even look into that. It's been a while. Michigan State has been growing as a team, and right now they're the biggest rival to Michigan, well, next to Ohio State. But we're not going to take any teams lightly this year. Now, looking at the schedule from Miami, even with the ACC games, Miami have the possibility of going undefeated this season. This might be the year. Now, as long as we don't stumble along the way and do those big mistakes that we always make and lose to team that we're supposed to totally hammer, we should go undefeated. The only team that we have that's not in the Coastal next year is Florida State and Wake Forest at the end of the season. So long as we win out in conference, ACC championship game should be Miami's. The Coastal Division should be Miami's. But who knows? Things happen. But let's all hope for the best. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of those first 4 games that Miami play. Now, in terms of strength of schedule, it's gonna be one of those long seasons next year where if the ACC teams that we play do not function during the season, do not get key wins, and then we beat them, we might be looking at a struggling to make the playoffs kind of thing. But let me know what you guys think. I'm out.